Hello and welcome to Adventures in Venueland, an EAMC podcast. This is your all-access pass to go backstage and behind the scenes with some of the brightest minds that cross the scope of the live entertainment industry. I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. We'll introduce you to some of our favorite people as we dive deep into the world of live touring shows and the venues that host them.
Our adventure today takes us to Savannah, Georgia. We're going to talk with OVG General Manager of End-Market Arena and Savannah Civic Center, Monty Jones Jr. Monty, thanks for making the time for us today.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you guys for having me.
So I've heard some rumblings about this whole End-Market Arena, but where are you guys at? What's happening? Because I know, boy, this is a big project for OVG.
Yeah, no, it's a huge project, and I'm glad to be a part of this, and this is a game changer, for this community. I mean, this is the biggest undertaking the city of Savannah has ever taken, and with Savannah being the first city of Georgia, this speaks huge volumes for that. Right now we're expecting to have, we're in the process of finalizing our seats. Installation, we just finished our center hung, so that's looking nice. It's like I take it as for the size of the arena, I take it as a miniature version of the Jerry World video.
Yes, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be the actual size of that in that arena.
No. Our capacity would go down, so it wouldn't be good. But yeah, so, it's that process. And, we're looking to come out and have our first events of 2022.
So what a time to be in this, opening an arena business, right? Because so where was it at? Was it kind of always planned to be in that window?
We've been pushing for the first part of 2022 since we broke ground in September of 2019. We've had great weather here in Savannah, other than, rain here and again. But, it's been great weather overall. And ACOM Hunt has been doing a great job with getting this project to the level that it currently is at.
It's got to be a challenge because, there even for so many venues that had established staffs, right? To go out and, keep, even reach out to people that used to work and have them come back. But you're literally starting from ground zero. So obviously when I visit the End-Market Arena website, first thing real big is, hey, we're hiring, right? But so how's that whole process been like for you guys?
Man, it's been a challenge, to be honest. It's been a huge challenge. We're trying to get the staff. Granted, the good thing is though, the staff that we do have, they're top tier staff. We have a great team that we built here, and we're continuing to build with some of the positions that we're having on our full-time staff. So it's going to be great overall once we get through that final. I think we're probably have about 3 positions that are unfilled right now that we're looking to finalize our full-time staff. But it's part of the process as a whole that we're all dealing with. So it's kind of part of the territory, as we know in this industry, the ever-changing.
Absolutely. And maybe you even benefit from things kind of getting shaken up a little bit over the last year and a half, and people are looking for new opportunities. Some people are looking to move out of big markets into smaller markets, or, there's maybe a little more, I don't want to say volatility sounds negative, but willingness to kind of change your career path and go in new exciting directions. So hopefully that, was played into your favor a bit.
I mean, you got to think about it. Who wouldn't want to live in Savannah, Georgia? I mean, the whole aspect of, being here on the coast, the culinary, the hospitality, the charm of what Savannah is. But then, as we all know, you have Monty Jones Jr. as your general manager who you'll be working with. So, come on, that's a huge plus overall.
Comes with free fedora hats.
So Monty, when we look at, Savannah there, you're GM of not just the arena, but there's also some other facilities, right? The Civic Center, and then what else is going on there?
Yeah, so currently we have the Savannah Civic Center that's currently in place. The Savannah Civic Center includes the Martin Luther King Jr. Arena, which is 7,500 seats. The Johnny Mercer Theater, which is 2,600 seat theater. And then we also have a 4,000 square foot ballroom, 6, 7, 8 meeting spaces, and a 12,000 square foot exhibit hall. So
Wow.
on top, that's what we're currently in the process of managing while we're going through the pre-opening and build phase of the in-market arena.
So no small task.
No small task. You gotta, where we're looking at it, we're trying to, prepare with stipulations and so forth for shows that we have at this building while we're booking shows, trying to go and sell at the new building. So, we're getting a little, on the job training, preparing us.
So what's the Savannah community reaction been like to the new arena? Are you getting some feedback? Is there just a good buzz in the town about it?
Yeah, so it's a great buzz for what we have. We've, a couple of weeks back, we announced our opening weekend of events to, kind of get us a little just of what there is to take, where we announced Raleigh Green. And, we also just announced Morgan Wallen, which is, doing great right now with this pre-sale. And, Globetrotters, we've announced a hip hop show and also an R&B show. And then we have some great announcements, that's going to be coming in the upcoming weeks. So the buzz has been great. The media has been picking up a great bit of what we're doing. The community has been great with, just taking into the fact of, hey, Savannah's on the top tier playing field right now with the entertainment for what we're, looking to bring in with our partners, Live Nation.
And we can see from your virtual background, Dave and I can see you're bringing hockey to Savannah, which I don't know of the history of hockey in Savannah, and I would assume there's not a lot. But is that something that's new? Has there been a team there previously? If it's new, is that kind of created its own buzz, and that now the community has like a team to rally around?
Yeah, so that's for sports wise, when people hear sports in Savannah, the first thing people, think about kind of nationally is the Savannah Bananas, the Woodback College League team, but now, we're bringing professional hockey to Savannah, and with the ECHL franchise, we just made the announcement, the Savannah Ghost Pirates. So
nice.
That's huge.
That's a nice name.
Yeah. So it was amazing, with the team. We have a great ownership group. With this group, and we're gonna reckon a lot in the ECHL with the team that we're gonna put here.
You can have a lot of fun with ECHL. I just know from some personal experience that there's just a lot of opportunities to get really creative, and I love the name. I love the team name, Ghost Pirates. I mean, it lends itself to so many fun ideas.
Yeah,
really.
And the great thing about that too is this is the first professional hockey team in Savannah. Granted, we also have been doing for almost 30 years the Savannah Hockey Classic, which the Hockey Classic is your Georgia Tech, Georgia, Florida, and Florida State. They come here on Martin Luther King Jr.'s weekend every year, and they host a hockey tournament.
Wow. Well, that'll be elevated all the more with the new facility. I'm sure they're all really excited and hyped up about that.
Oh, yes.
I know one of the big priorities for you through this whole project is, diversity and inclusion. And that's a big piece of this project. Am I right?
Yeah. So, part of Oakview Group, our overall initiative is be well aware and to be top of mind, when you think of this industry with diversity and inclusion. But, speaking to just Savannah, part of our process is, we're going to have 75% of our event operating income are going to be local Savannah minority-owned companies. That's a huge plus for our total initiative as a company, but then also the things to increase, the opportunity for local Savannans, here within the community.
Absolutely.
So where does that come from? Was that locally dictated, or was that an OVG kind of request?
So the local aspect of the RP process stipulated that you bring in a minimum of 25%. And throughout that process, it was like, hey, as Oakview Group, as we are the disruption in the industry, we need to do things a little different. And that part of that process is, what, we can go well above and beyond that to exceed, that minimum capacity that was required. And we ended up with finding some great community partners who went out throughout the community. And we found just these great companies and people to be a part of the process and bring them along. But on top of that, it's the avenue of also allowing these companies to grow. and so that they can grow outside of Savannah and just make their company bigger than just Savannah.
That's great.
When it's all about giving people that platform too, sometimes people don't have that opportunity, and they might have all the motivation and all the, drive to work on things, but without the right, opportunity and platform to really elevate their business. I mean, I think that's, all about, bringing sort of this equitable balance to everyone. And I think it's such an amazing thing you all are doing with, bringing those people in. And like you said, giving them the ability to not only grow in the community, but grow their own businesses and grow it beyond the community across the state and the country.
Right. And that's just looking at the event operating side, but then also too, we partner, with a local minority company that's going to be our joint venture here. With Pat Mathis Construction. And, that goes as the same, idea that, we're going to look to help that company grow so that then they can look at work outside of just Savannah. And, if we're looking at other venues in their state or in the region, that, hey, here's somebody who already knows, kind of our process, and they can help and they grow outside of Savannah as well.
With that whole process, there it's got to be some challenges that some people, looking at that idea go, oh, we couldn't make that work because, but you guys are finding a way to make it work. So have there been any bumps in the road along that way, or is it all just actually been pretty easy because of the great community you have?
No, I mean, the thing is, as Savannah stated earlier, this is something new to Savannah with this big building, and having the platform of what Savannah will bring as far as entertainment in the industry now with this new arena. These groups have never worked in this field. Granted, they may have done, let's say, security, for another organization, but security, at a hospital or somewhere else is different than security, so forth, for entertainment industry. And so it's just a process of teaching. And, as I stated earlier about having a great team, it's the team, that we're the ones helping train them so that they are ready and prepared, for what's to come. And so the good thing is we were able to bring them on board earlier, which is the huge plus of currently managing the Savannah Civic Center.
So when you're doing this whole, arena construction process, there's obviously, you've been in a lot of buildings, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, but what are you excited about for the end market arena? What with this new building, what kind of things are there that you are just can't wait to see out to the public?
Well, it's the thing of, where Savannah has roughly 13 to 14 million visitors a year, just as it being Savannah. So with looking at adding this entertainment aspect of what we're about to add at the end market arena, it's going to bring more people to Savannah, but then also it's going to have it where people in Savannah can actually, sleep in their bed at night, after coming to a major show, so keeping that. And that's also the other part of keeping the money local with having these great shows, but then also, bringing additional people, given them another reason to come visit Savannah. So, Savannah is known as the hostess city. Now we're known as the hostess with the mostest city.
I love that. I know from the outside, one of the things that Savannah gets some attention for is obviously SCAD, the school there. Have you all been looking into, incorporating some art or some installations or anything kind of cool there? Because I know that's definitely in the art community. That's very much like a hub for art is Savannah, not only because of the history and the culture there, but then obviously the school too.
Yeah. So, we're looking at adding a nice public piece out in the front of the venue that we'll unveil on the opening weekend, but then also too, talking with SCAD about looking at some different avenues where they can help entice with some different artwork in our premium areas. Or, within, as most staircases and stairwells are, kind of a dark, gloomy place, adding some pop to those areas. So we're looking to work with them on adding that, to those areas and looking at different, opportunities with internships with SCAD. And, the great thing is, we have, with SCAD here, we have Savannah State University, we have Georgia Southern, we have Savannah Tech. So we have a good group of universities, right here. And even if you look just across the border in South Carolina, just down the road, you got, looking at HBCUs where you have Claflin, and South Carolina State right there. So we have a good group to pull from to ensure, and enrich all of those areas that, we have here.
That's great.
So, it obviously a lot of stuff to be excited about there, but let's take it back a little bit. Let's head back to the late 90s when Monty Jones Jr. is at North Carolina State University.
Go Pack.
And you're working on a Parks and Rec tourism management concept. Maybe it was sports management part of that too. And so what did you think you wanted to do with your life at that point?
So at that point, I actually wanted to be a sports agent. And, one of our final projects in school was to do a term paper on someone in your profession. And so I worked in the athletic department, so I knew some of the former athletes, and then was working with the arena football team that was there during my last 2 years in school. I got to get to know some of the players, and one of them was a local agent that I was able to talk to. And this guy was an accountant by trade. So during the day he was an accountant, but he was an agent, at night, and just talking with him of all the different things that he did, and going back to school, and, getting his, MBA and all of that, and everything that he had to go through. I was like, you know what, I'm just ready to get out and get into, the world. And so I was like, you know what, it's a different for me. And so with having that internship with the arena football team, I got to see the minor league side, but then I also got to see the arena side, with, talking with Rob Douglas, who used to be over the events and production back in the day, it was the ESA, then it went to RBC, and now it's the PNC Arena.
So what I love about, a chance to work for, with a team like the Carolina Cobras, right, is that, when you're doing the AFL, ticket sales don't necessarily come easily, right? But you've got to get creative. And so, and some of those opportunities, you've got a little more freedom to think, and get creative and to see what the arena and the team can do. Kind of sets you up with that good experience of, hey, it's some work, but we can have some fun too.
Yeah, and that's the thing about, little, with a small boutique kind of concept, as you're looking at minor league sports, it gives you the option to work in pretty much all departments. And so you get a little bit of everything, with that. So it helps you, kind of as you grow.
So, you graduate and you end up spending some time working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Yeah. Yeah. So, actually, I started there. My friend. Yeah. So crazy thing, I didn't want to go home after my freshman year of college. And my brother, 2 years older, he was there at NC State as well, an engineering major. And mind you, going back, I actually started out as an electrical engineer major.
Really?
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very different path.
Yeah. And I wanted to stay up in Raleigh, because I had a lot of fun my freshman year. So I got a job with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, washing cars during the day. And then I worked at UPS, the twilight shift, loading the trucks at night. So from 10 to 2, I would load trucks, and then I would wake up and go to Enterprise at 7 in the morning and would work from 7 to 5.
Teach you the value of hard work, right?
Yeah.
Also gets you used to that live event schedule.
Yeah.
No catering though. I don't think the catering at UPS was as solid as live events.
No.
So, you obviously, you can make a great life out of, that side of working, through business and doing that kind of thing. But you got pulled back to the live event side of things.
Yeah. It was amazing. And when I talk to people every now and then, I tell the story about, I was doing good. I mean, I was, at the time I was a, assistant manager, at Enterprise, and, making good. I actually took a pay cut to come back into the industry. And,
I know that feeling.
Paid off. Yeah. And that, but that's the great thing. It eventually paid off. And, it was great to continue and get that opportunity.
So what was that step back into live events? I think, was it Spectra, Comcast? Tell me about that. Tell me about how you got back in.
Yeah. So there was an opportunity at the Colonial Life Arena at the University of South Carolina for an event manager. And I was able to, which coincides from that internship and working with the Carolina Cobras, the former director of ticketing with the Carolina Cobras, he was an assistant AD for the University of South Carolina. So he was able to say, hey, there's an opening. And, I applied with Comcast Spectacor or Global Spectrum at the time. And I was able to get that job as an event manager. And I remember my first day on the job, Matt Holman just said, hey, we got, it was First Robotics. And Matt Holman said, hey, here's your event, go handle it. And all I had was a data sheet and the one point of contact, and the rest is history.
You just find a way, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was his best lesson,
It really is. It's kind of like sometimes it's better off just being thrown into the deep end and finding your way out, fighting your way through it.
Yes. But it was an easy one. The first one was an easy one.
So what did you take away from that first, because you had a few years there. What did you take away from that first real industry gig that you still carry with you today?
I blame Tom Paquette for this. He was the general manager, but one of his pet peeves was tape. Having tape visible on doors and so forth. So that's kind of one of the things I still carry. But then
that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, but then it's also the avenue of just dealing with adversity. Just being able to from there having the opportunity to go from a event coordinator all the way up to the director of events within 2 years. With having that progress to grow and just learning a lot and having people that were able to teach me the different aspects that helped me to this day, from, having Kurt and Shannon in the box office and, had a lot of good marketers from, Abby to Andrea and Laura and Casey, just to name a few that were there, to learn a little bits and pieces about that, but then learning under, Matt Holman and Tom Paquette and so forth, on the event side and the financial side through, Chris Azuzu, budgeting process. It has helped me today from just bringing all that knowledge from learning the budgeting process and then how managing your staff at a big building of that size with 18,000 seats to, having a good rapport with, having these mid-sized venues that I've been managing for the most part.
Yeah, what would you say is your management style, if you had to kind of put a style to it?
I would say my management style is open-handed. Open-handed, so open-handed is like, hey, I give it to you, but then if, you don't take the knowledge that works for you, then therefore the hand is going to have to close and it's going to, have to choose to go to the next person. So I guess that would be a good approach, because, I like to give people the freedom and the opportunity to do their job. I don't like to micromanage. Myself or the assistant GM or someone felt that you were capable of doing the job. And we're just here to provide you with the tools that you need to succeed.
That and no tape on the doors.
Yes.
Thanks, though. That sticks with you, though. If you see it, it'll stay with you. Yeah, right. I get that. Get that. So from there, you end up heading to the Windy City?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go open up a brand new 6,500 seat arena, the Jones Convocation Center. At one point, I thought it was going to be named after me. That's why they chose me. But, the process, with it being, part of the 2016 Chicago Olympic bid, that was, one of the things that I saw that I wanted to be in the process of Chicago One, so I was there for roughly a year and a half. And I say the best thing that came out of that is that's where I met my wife.
That's great. I mean, what was that process like, just going to that kind of market too? I mean, I'm sure it's a pretty big difference from where you were coming from. And, you obviously met your wife, which is amazing, but, was there some kind of good things, some negatives, some things you kind of pulled in from that, that maybe, you've taken on as you've grown throughout your career?
Yeah. It's that process helped me with my, I would say the political acumen with having to deal with the politics of what this job entails, with being at that location, as political as Chicago was, I didn't have to deal with, probably the magnitude that, Soldier Field or United Center or Navy Pier or so forth would have to deal with. But it's the process of on that campus. The building was named after the state Senate president, Emil Jones. So having him constantly there at the venue and dealing with the president and the politics with, what comes from him being an alum of there and, just that avenue of Chicago as a whole, that helped on that end. And then too, I'm a, country town, small town, Princeville, North Carolina, where I was raised, and having an opportunity in the big city, that was huge for me.
So from there, you go to your first official GM job, James Brown Arena, Augusta. You're there in Georgia. Is there part of you when you're GM that looks around and you say, "Wait a minute, am I the GM? How did this happen?"
Yeah, it's that there was, I would say, Augusta, to date, up until In-Market Arena opens, was my pride and joy. Because was able to come in from a building that had been mismanaged. They were, in the process of losing $1.4 million a year being subsidized. And by the time I left, I cut that subsidy in half. But then also being able to truly, that's why I think I really came out of the shell with being involved with the community, and things of that sort where, we were doing the Dancing Stars and so forth there, being on all the multiple boards and so forth. And then, just the crew that was there and building that crew, but then also building the team that a portion of them are still there, but then also having it where you could grow people from that building. There's a couple of people that are general managers now that came, that was part of my team there. At that building.
That's so great. I mean, there's nothing better than really having someone that worked under you, whether it's an intern or a coordinator or whoever, to see them go on and take on that success. And then to be successful, hoping that you had a small part in that, but also it's just the best feeling, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like one of, my first intern was Josh Small. And he ended up coming to Augusta as my director of events. And now Josh is the general manager in Albany, Georgia. So, I remember, I went back, he's an NC State alum as well. And so, I went back and I spoke to his class, and he came up to me afterwards and said, "Hey, that job sounds fun. I want to get an internship." And I said, "Okay, you're good." And that summer he came up and now we're looking, I guess that was, it's probably 10, 15 years ago now, so it's great. Like you just stated, Paul, to just kind of see that.
When you look at, I guess back to that August 2008, when you're starting that first GM job, if you could go back to 2008 Monty and kind of whisper something in his ear, right? And say, "Hey, here's a little tip that's going to help you out down the road." What do you wish you knew then that you know now?
Be a little bit more patient, because, but, at times it was, you wanted to look at the first thing that came up and so forth. And, we talked about from going from Augusta to Phoenix, just being patient with the process, just to, make sure that you encompass everything.
Yeah, was that a big culture shock when you moved to Glendale? All of a sudden, you find yourself in Arizona working at with the Coyotes there.
Yeah, my wife, she's originally from San Francisco, the Bay Area. It's kind of similar for her, but me, like I stated earlier, small town North Carolina is true culture shock. But hey, we weathered the storm. We had some great stories, some great things we did with the Coyotes and with Gila River Arena. Some lifelong friendships, with the team and the crew that we had working the events that, we still actually have our little text group of our staff that, has gone on all different, like only one person is still at that building, but all of us are in the industries at different locations, and we still actually, connect on a text. So it's that lifelong friendship,
That's awesome.
that you get from that.
You mentioned your wife, and I know, a lot of us in this industry that have spouses end up staying in one city because the wife's got her family nearby, and so you must have a very understanding bride who has worked with you in all these moves from market to market.
Yeah, she's very understanding. Granted, it's hard at times because I mean, if you look at it, I say that, hey, we've moved, 8 times in 15 years, 15, 16 years. And she adds on the multiple moves within the moves, so like, when we move to a city, we're moving to an apartment or a house, in a general area where we think that we would lease for 6 months. And then we'll go to kind of what we feel is the permanent location, so she adds that. So some of them have 2 moves that she adds on to it. And, so she gets me every time with that.
How'd you guys meet?
So while in Chicago, I was renting a place in one of the high rises in Hyde Park. And she worked for the company that was managing the property. And the maintenance guy who I became friendly with, just because it was a remodel high rise. And so I came friendly with him because, needed some things done, nice bachelor pad in a big city, could see Navy Pier and Soldier Field from from the window. And he actually introduced us at one of our outings. And, the thing is, the crazy thing was, she didn't return my call, after I tried to get her to hang out at a Final Four party, that we were having with the Black sports professionals in Chicago. And so she didn't return my call. And so I was like, okay, all right, well, and she called probably a week later and said there was phone issues. That's what she stated. That's what she stated, So I let her have that. And, but within, roughly about 6 months later, the opportunity came to move back south to Augusta, and she moved with me there. And, we married within a year from there, and, have right now 3 beautiful kids, 2 boys and a girl. So it's been great, with her understanding.
So, obviously, a couple more stops, Macon, spent some time in Alabama, Charlotte, before you head back to Savannah. Anything else there on that journey that you feel you definitely, you want to hit that was an important piece of your adventure?
Yeah. Like, with the stop in Alabama and Hoover, I kind of ventured away a little bit, but it was still somewhat part where it was a 250-acre sports complex that I opened in Hoover, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham. And, so that was great to get that side of it, because, that's one of the things that, Oakview Group, we're doing now. You kind
of put that Parks and Rec degree to some use, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, it all comes full circle, right? As they say. But then also, with Oakview Group, we're going to be opening up Legacy Park, or Bell Bank Park, right outside of Phoenix in Mesa. So, that's a rough 300 plus acre sports complex, that, my guy Rodney Reese is GM down there opening up. So, it's good to have that knowledge, for, what our future is going to be, as a company, with just the expansion of different avenues.
Tell me how you ended up back with OVG.
So the thing is, as this industry is, you keep relationships close and don't burn bridges. And, with Doug Higgins, from my time in Columbia, I reported to Doug, and, Doug and I, once he left Global Spectrum, he and I constantly stayed in contact, and, it was just having that, that friendship to stay in contact about, where we are and, what projects and processes he's working on and so forth. And so with having that, he said, hey, we got an opportunity, as a business development, director with that building, to help with some projects that we're working on. And, I said, hey, this is great. It's a great opportunity for me because I was able to be close in North Carolina, because that, at that time I was transitioning due to my father's passing and my mother's breast cancer diagnosis coming back. So it was good to be close to family, but still, have great opportunity with a great company. And, so we go through that, and Savannah was one of those projects, that we bid on and we won. And I got the opportunity to work with Paul a little bit, during transition down there at Rupp Arena, so, it was just great timing with all of that.
I mean, you really hit the nail on the head there with relationships too. And it doesn't take a lot, because you can even be early in your career and you meet a couple people here or there. And even if it's locally or regionally, you make an impression on someone, you keep in touch with them, and there's just opportunities will present themselves. And I think this industry, as vast as it is, and there's so many venues in so many cities all across the country and really the world, it is also kind of a small industry. And that if once you work in it for 5 or 10 years, you generally know someone, or someone that knows that person. Like almost everyone can be a second degree from Kevin Bacon, right? Like it's
right.
it's like literally if you name any venue in the US, it's like, okay, well, I know someone that used to work there, or I know someone that works there now, or I know someone that knows that person. It's small enough. But the beauty of it is that if you're looking for opportunities, you're looking to move, or you're looking to advance, or you're wanting to go into a certain type of market, it's really so conducive for that, probably more so than any other industry.
Yeah, I mean, even too, I remember, while in Phoenix, and Peter Luco, he had left Global Spectrum as well at the time, and he was working with the Florida Panthers. And the Florida Panthers was visiting for a game in Phoenix, and so happened to go up, and we talked for a little bit, as he was maneuvering through, and he said, hey, we'll work together one day again. That was back in the mid-teens, of the 20s, and here we are now. We're working together again.
It's got to be really rewarding to see this building coming so close to opening, and your diversity efforts there. It's got to be such a point of pride. It's so cool what you guys are doing, and I wish you the best of luck as you get ready to open up the in-market arena.
Thank you, and it's been great to have great partners such as the city as well. The city of Savannah, has been open arms, with Overview Group and Live Nation and our partner Pat Mathis, along with Delaware North. I mean, they've been great from the Mayor Van Johnson, to the aldermen and women, and even city staff, from the Brett Bell. We have a new city manager here, and so forth and so on. They've just been open arms, and it's great when you can have a relationship with them, and they understand the avenues of what we're trying to do in order to make the city a better city than what it is.
It's what it's all about, man. If you could just make a little bit better, make people's lives a little bit better, which that's what we're trying to do here. Hey, before we let you go, and I know you're a busy man, but want to hit you with the fast 5. It's 5 quick questions, just looking for your instant response. Up first, what was your first concert?
Patti LaBelle.
How about your favorite concert?
Prince.
The last TV show you binged was?
Succession.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Smoked spaghetti.
Oh, I have to ask about that.
Last
question. What is the Monty Jones Jr. TV show theme song? So there's cameras that follow you around everywhere you go, document your life. What is the theme song to the show that's all about you?
I would say what is it? Beans don't burn in the kitchen.
Jefferson's, yeah.
Jefferson, yeah. Yeah.
Moving on up.
Yep.
Hey, before we let you go, I do have to have smoked spaghetti.
So it's my aunt's recipe. And it's essentially, you take the process of everything is cooked outside, where you smoke your beef or your ground turkey. You smoke that, then you get that prepared. You cook your noodles out on the grill with boil them and, boil the water and get your noodles cooked out on the grill. So they also have the smoked flavor. And then, you mix, whether you do your sausage or your sauce that you make, have your sauce, bubbling up there on the grill, that you're going to make. And then you get your pan. I like to put a layer of cheese on the bottom of mine. So man. I start with the layer of cheese on the bottom. And then I go, I go cheese, meat, noodles. And so I'll do probably roughly 3 layers for the most part. And then I finish with cheese on the top.
Oh my
Need a minute to
gosh.
myself.
Yeah.
You're
then
speaking
after you
Dave's
do
language
that-
and my language. Oh my gosh.
But then after you do that, the cheese has to melt. So then you put it back in and then you just smoke it, for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how
Oh
smoky
my
you want.
gosh.
Paul, you ready for a road trip to Savannah?
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, save some for us. We'll come down there, and you gotta whip us up a batch.
I got you.
If somebody wants more recipe, or they want to reach out to you more about or anything you're doing there, Monty, what's the best place for them?
So you can reach me on I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm hardly up there, but I'm up there. And it's Monty Jones Jr. So you got to put the Jr. up there. I don't know who you're going to get if you put Monty Jones. And let's see, where else am I? I'm on Facebook, Twitter as well. So I'm on all of those things, but
you're not on TikTok yet, or
so I have it on my phone. I'm up there, but it's more so for my kids. They're up there looking at stuff and then they'll try to do some of the stuff that they see or get me to look at it.
So what you're saying is there's videos of you dancing with your kids on there. All right. Sounds good. We'll go find
it.
them.
It may be. It may, because they sneak record me sometimes when we're doing stuff and my wife. So that's very possible.
On that note, we'll wrap things up so we can hop onto TikTok. But thanks for taking the time for us today. We really appreciate that.
No problem. Hey, thank you guys for having me. I really enjoyed this.
And thanks to everyone for listening to Adventures in Venueland. Remember, you can subscribe and find more episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We love your 5-star reviews so you can help others find us. Until the next adventure, I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. Save me some of that spaghetti. Adventures in Venueland is a side project of the Event and Arena Marketing Conference, a nonprofit organization bringing together people in the field of live entertainment to discuss marketing, publicity, and sales trends. Find out more at eventarenamarketing.com.
Audio editing and mixing by Camille Faulkner.
Design and digital advertising by Megan Ebeck.
Copywriting and publicity by Samantha Marker.
Guest booking and brand strategies by Paul Hooper.
Guest research by Dave Rettelberger.
Marketing strategies by Paul Hooper, Megan Ebeck, and Samantha Marker. Thanks for joining us. Until the next adventure.